Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers, our little high vibe chapel here in Weymouth Landing. We are down at 63 Washington Street, just in case you guys want to come and join our class in person. But alas, we bring you this offering streaming on the interweb because we do know a lot of you just prefer to do yoga at home and maybe need to do this later in the day. So thank you so much for being here, for supporting, for tuning in. This is our midweek reset with Anna. And Anna has been an amazing, dedicated practitioner here, keeping us accountable, showing up for each other is what we do. So thank you for showing up here today. I just wanted to say one little thing about what PCSM is. I had a little bit of a kind of issue with the word church, growing up, because I never really felt part of one. Because my parents kind of ran off into the sunset, from the Catholic Church, my mom being a teen mom and them wanting to get married and just like be lovers. I guess that seemed really rebellious. So I feel like I'm a true love child. But what I did lack in a sense was just that place, that consistency, a place that we would go and see the same people on a regular basis. And so when we reframed church as just simply community glue, it suddenly resonated with me again. Like, oh my gosh, I can create experiences and we can just be the place where we can hold space. And I think that originally that's what church was probably intended to be, So our leaders of our church, they share their love and passion for different things that they're into. So that's how Soul Saturday was born, because my husband, who's the co-founder of the church, has a deep love for vinyl record music and collecting. So I just wanted to remind you that Soul Saturday sermon isn't a typical church service. It is literally us coming together and just sharing our love and passion for music, because that was what one of the founders wanted to offer and share. How the midweek reset started was because Anna wanted to share her gifts of being a yoga therapist, and that's how this program was born. So as we bring in more members, we hope to expand our programs based off of what the new members want to bring to the table and share with the congregation. So we are opening up to new members. We have a brand new membership application, just so we can find out more, even with our current members, about what it is you'd like to see more of here, because we are of the people, by the people, for the people. So please reach out to us if there is something you would like to see us adding in the future, and please reach out to us if you're interested in becoming a member. And you would just go to pcsam.org, sign up for our newsletter, and shoot me a little message, and we can set up a time to chat. Yeah, so this Friday night is our Integrated Recovery Practices Support Group, and we do have Matt Thompson leading a second breathwork session. It's kind of building upon last week. This week is going to be some inner child work, and it's going to involve some journaling. So do bring a pen and a notebook if you do not have one. I happen to have some at Irie Bliss. But yeah, so that's going to be an interesting one. I think Matt's going to take everybody outside, so it's a little bit more of a movement and meditation. Then next week for School Vacation Week, we have two awesome family-friendly events planned. One of them is going to be on Tuesday, which is our normal Rise Up Breathwork class with Matt. Matt works with children every single day as a rock climbing teacher. So Matt is very skilled in corralling small children. So he's even saying up, as young as 3 years old, kids can participate in a breathwork session here with us. And if they're not into that, James Davis and Colo from the Bay Staters for Natural Medicine have offered to set up some arts and crafts in the front. And we're actually going to be having the kids take mushrooms like portobellos and using them in acrylic paints. And we want the children to kind of create maybe one large scale piece of art that kind of all intertwines together, kind of like the way the mycelium intertwines under the earth. So we hope to make some magic with the kiddos this week. And then on Wednesday, Anna is also going to be opening up her yoga class to all ages. So, we know that sometimes it's hard to find a babysitter to go to a yoga class and then afford both. So we will have that open, and I think it's going to be really fun. And if it's nice, we might take it outside. We're going to really go with the flow next week. So again, check out our newsletter, and you would get that by subscribing on our website. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yes. So Anna, how are you feeling today?
Great. I'm feeling great. The sun is shining. So there you have that. Today I was talking about falling. So just to be, this is just came up for me yesterday. As a yoga therapist, I'm constantly studying the body and also looking at scientific research that's been done based on yoga. And what came up was, I do teach a lot of chair yoga, I teach gentle yoga, hatha yoga, and all of these, it's all yoga, and these practices that I do really emphasize the strengthening and the mind body connection to how you feel in your own body, and everybody's body is different. But one of the things that came up yesterday was falling, and it's so obvious because I do work with an elder community as well, and they come in because they're uncomfortable in their bodies. Balance is off. They want to feel stronger, but I came across this program that started to talk about falling, which I'm going to begin to learn more about. But one of the things that I found fascinating, and what I do find the link between yoga therapy, is the science-backed research. And we don't really think about the body when we fall. I think when we think about falling, we just think about the action of falling and the repercussions of landing or catching yourself and, I just almost missed that, or, and what happens in the body when it's in motion falling forward, specifically. We can fall backwards, we can slip. So when we think of falling, we don't think of the body. So we really kind of feel like we're out of control, like we don't control our body when we fall. I mean, if you think about stunts, they practice falling and rolling, right? And they also work the body out in different ways. But in yoga, you are really working a lot of the muscles that are engaged in a fall. And what I found fascinating was that, and this is through some physical therapy research, was that the diaphragm engages at the same time the breath. We know that the breath and the diaphragm engage, but so does the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor engages, the diaphragm engages, and there's this unifying movement that happens with the breath and the pelvic floor. So it's become really apparent that when it comes to preparing the body or just practicing, what to expect in a fall, that breath work, which we do here, is very important in the awareness of your diaphragm, which we also do in yoga, all sorts of different breath work. And the interaction or the thought of engaging the mind-body connection with the pelvic floor. I don't think that we talk about the pelvic floor at all because it's just something that you don't really talk about, or that women talk amongst themselves about it and seek, when they encounter problems. But I really think that the pelvic floor should be just like the rest of the body is talked about and strengthened, because if we start young, we can always work on what happens and keep our youth, which is delaying the aging process, which is also what yoga does with certain parts of the body, including the pelvic floor. There's, incontinence. There's, just the body feeling not strong underneath, the hips or, in the hip area. There's also the strength in the legs. Strengthening the legs and the upper body also help the body feel more in control in a fall. But that's what I really wanted to talk about, because we engage all of those things in a yoga practice. We just don't think about it. So when you do think about yoga, you're really, not only are you slowing down the aging process, but you're also strengthening parts of your body. You're strengthening your entire body and your mind and spirit in ways that you can prevent falls, or you can just be more aware of how you do things, which I think is the magic of yoga, the awareness.
And I think statistically, I remember reading that elderly folks if they break their hip or their back and they're like in their 80s, they have like something crazy, like a 60% chance of passing away within that year.
Yeah.
Part of it is, I think, that losing their independence quickly, like if they're used to it. And then the other part of it, I think, is just, you don't have the same ability to heal, especially if it requires surgery. And then, like, even anesthesia has long-term effects that we probably don't even know about. So I think that's really great advice. My meme was kicking butt until she fell off she broke her back trying to save a squirrel from a cat. And, within, it was just kind of that story within 6 to 8 months. It was like she just lost the will to, really kind of live.
So to touch on that, when we fall, it creates fear. And fear is such a huge emotion that it affects and can detriment your healing process too. So, when you fall and especially when we're older, but even as, kids, if they fall, they don't want to do that again because they might fall again. And it's the same, if we fall, slip on ice, we tend to be more careful. But to an extreme level of fear, people hold back. They don't want to go out, if it's a certain weather. So, that really brings on a fear that keeps you from moving forward. But I think that if you have these practices, it deals with these emotions and how these emotions affect the body. But if you're developing this practice, this is something that you just bring into your daily life. So remember how I often say what we, create here, the intentions that we create here are what we take into our daily lives. And it's really everything. So I mean it when I say, I don't just say it, it's definitely something that I mean, and that I want people to realize that whatever bubbles up on the mat is something that you take with you, whether it's good or uncomfortable. But yeah, I think the fear is really something also detrimental to falls. So I just wanted to bring up that conversation because we're going to get started in the practice. But I want you to just have that awareness that when you are on your mat, on your chair, or wherever you may be stretching or doing a little bit of yoga, you are working on yourself. You're working on your body. It's your self-care. And it's you showing up for yourself. So this is not just in the moment now, but it's also helping you for your future, for what's to come.
Well, what I kind of like is some of the challenging poses, you're following in them and like you're playing. You become a kid. You become the kid that's actually the kid that falls down and gets right back up and doesn't actually even feel it, because there's those kids too. You know what I mean? So I think when you put yourself in a position where you might fall and it becomes playful, then you will be able to handle your body in a situation where maybe the slip isn't your control.
So an exercise that you can do to create a free fall, and I did this actually in one of my classes today, is I had all my students face a wall. And you know how we chaturanga, we place our hands and we do like a push-up or from plank, which you can do if you're not getting on a mat, you can do against the wall. And one of the things to also build upper body strength, aside from, weights and all of that, is creating the movement of pressing into the wall and pressing your weight back up. So you're in a plank position at an angle, and you're using your body weight to press back. But what that can also develop, so it creates the upper body strength, but what you can also do is press and push and free fall and catch yourself. Even as you get more comfortable, taking your hands away and the reaction time that you put your hands on, the wall to catch yourself in that free fall. So that's another practice that you can do. It's playful. I mean, you can do it with the kids, or, it's something that can bring the awareness of what it feels like to fall forward and catch yourself. But you're also building that upper body strength too, as opposed to being
all I have in my head now is catch me now.
But I also, so I wanted to thank you for listening to that. And, I think it's an important conversation to have and just to be aware. And I also want to welcome, we have an in-studio student here today, and she's going to be practicing yoga with us. So welcome. And then you're going to be practicing as well. So. Yeah. let's get started, and we'll have about a 45-minute practice or so. All right, so let's begin on our backs. Lately, I've been just starting on our backs, and come and bring your entire body to ground on the floor, and then arms can be on by your sides. And let's begin to settle into the breath. Let's take a few deep, like 3 cleansing breaths here. In through the nose and out the nose. And also bring the awareness to the belly. And as you breathe in, feel the diaphragm expand. And as you exhale, letting the body fall. One more breath here. And exhaling, even through the mouth if that feels good. So let's do a full body stretch. Inhale, bring the arms over the head. Stretch the legs and the arms. Reach, reach, reach. If it feels good to grab the wrists, you can to give a little extra stretch. And then let's bring both knees into the chest and give our knees a nice little hug there. So my allergies have been really bad today, so I apologize for the frog in my throat. All right, so a little rock back and forth. And then from here, let's roll the knees into, so placing your hands on your knees and creating a circular motion with the knees. And breathing as you move. So inhaling and exhaling as you move the knees in a circular motion, and then opposite direction when you're ready, moving in the opposite direction. Excuse me. So we are massaging the lower back and getting some mobility in the hips. And if you bring the awareness to the perineum, you can begin to pull. So every now and then I'll remind you to pull the perineum up, just as a reminder. So from here, let's bring the feet up towards the sky. Hands lie flat beside you, and just give a nice flex of the feet. And then point, and then rotate the ankles. All right, so from here, let's engage the core. Ground the palms into the mat and gently begin to bring the legs down back to the mat. All right, so now we've alleviated some of the wiggles that are in the body and are bringing the body to a calm place. Let's place the hands on the heart. So that left hand can go on top of the heart, right hand on top of the left, or whatever you're comfortable with. And begin to feel the chest rise as you inhale. Belly fills, exhale. Belly falls, chest falls. And whether you're seated, standing, or lying on your back, I will invite you to set an intention for your practice. Remembering that it is intentions that drive our actions, and it is these intentions we carry through our practice and take with us into our daily lives. All taking a deep breath in together through the nose, and a slow exhale out through the nose or through the mouth. And releasing the hands. All right, so let's roll over to our left side and gently come onto your forearm. Palm is flat. And then let's bring the feet one on top of the other so the legs are on top of one another. So let's gently lift that right leg up, flex the foot, press the heel out, and then gently we're going to lower down. And inhale, reach back up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, reach up. I think we need more of these.
I must increase it.
Right. So it's 4 and 5. And then from here, let's just take that knee in towards the chest, even though it's not in front of the body, it's on the side body. Flex the foot. And then from here, peace finger or take the outsides of your feet and gently extend the leg out. So if you don't reach the toes, just gently placing the hand on the outside of the leg, just gently pressing the heel out to get into the hamstring. And we're just doing it a little differently on the side of our body just to kind of change it up a little bit. And then let's release that and lower everything down. Let's roll over to our tummy and come into a Sphinx pose. So the palms are down, elbows are tucked, and you're going to gently lift the chest up as you press the toes in. So Sandy, reach the arms a little bit forward. So in Sphinx pose, we want the arms a little forward so that the elbows are underneath the shoulders. Kind of like that Egyptian Sphinx. And then inhale, press the heart forward. Gaze is forward or chin parallel to the floor. Now take the gaze up. Gently press the pelvis, the hip bones into the mat to lift the heart. But keep also bring back the chin parallel to the floor if it lifts up. Mine has a tendency to lift. And then release. So notice as you press all 10 fingers, all 10 toes in, you're really engaging the legs, but you're not squeezing the butt. The butt is nice and relaxed. All right, so come all the way down. Take that left cheek to the mat. Extend the arms down just to give the arms a little bit of a break. And take a nice deep breath in and out. And then gently begin to shift the arms back, forearms come down, palms flat, walk the hands forward, elbows are about beneath the shoulders. All right, take a nice deep breath, press all 10 toes into the mat and lift the heart, press the heart forward, chin parallel to the floor, but you can take the gaze up to exercise the eyes. Again, notice that you're not squeezing the butt, you're just gently engaging the legs by pressing all 10 toes in. Take another deep breath here, lift the heart a little bit more, and then come all the way down. Release the arms by your side and take the right cheek to the mat. All right, so now we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders and you're going to rotate to the opposite side. Okay, so you're going to come over to your right side, but I'm going to switch sides so I don't have my back to the camera. And we're going to come to rest on the forearm and spread the hand nice and wide so the palm is nice and grippy. And then just align your body. Take a nice deep breath in, flex that left foot and lift it all the way up. And then bring it all the way down on the exhale. Inhale, lift. Then exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Lower down. 2 more. Stay nice and lifted. Flexing the foot, pressing the heel out. Last one. And lower down. All right. From here, we're going to gently bring that leg back and bring it up to the sky and see if we can reach for our toe or the outside of the foot and give power. So you can stay on the hip or you can, lean back, whatever you feel comfortable with, and just gently give yourself a nice stretch there. Lift the heart, press into the mat, and then release. Lower back down. Come back to your tummy. This time, we're going to go into a baby cobra. So now you have let me flip back so I want to see Sandy. Hands underneath the shoulders. And your chin is on the mat. Let your feet come together, toes flat. Tuck the elbows close to the body. And how do you know if your hands are in the right place? So they're underneath the shoulders. Gently drop one shoulder and then the other. And if you can still see the fingertips, you're good. If your shoulder covers the fingertips, they're too far back. If there's too much forward, then it's too far forward. So that's a good way to measure. All right, so tuck the elbows close to the body. Legs are nice and zipped up, chin on the mat. And take a nice deep breath in as you press the toes into the floor. Press the hips into the mat and gently lift the heart up. And then chin parallel to the floor as you take the gaze up. Breathing through the nose. And then gently lowering all the way down. Take the right cheek to the mat. Release the arms. All right, gentle facing, that's okay. All right, so from here, again, deep breath in as you bring the hands back into position underneath the shoulders. Legs are nice and zipped up. Take an inhale, tuck the elbows, press all 10 toes in, lift the chest. Nice. Take a nice deep breath in, lift a little higher, and then lower all the way down. Rest on the opposite cheek. Release the arms. All right, so hands are going to come back underneath the shoulders. You're going to gently lift yourself up into table to transition. And then gently curl the toes under, and you're going to lift into a downward facing dog. So take a nice deep breath here. Walk the dog, lifting one heel after the other. Pull the navel in. Pull the perineum up. A little different way to feel it. And then if it feels good to you here, take a nice deep breath in. Hide at the mouth. Gaze is through the ankles. Press the heart towards the thighs. Palms are nice and grippy on the mat or on the floor. Middle finger points forward. And then gently press the index fingers and the thumbs into the mat. Notice how that feels in the shoulders. Take the gaze to the top of the mat or your hands, and then walk your feet to meet your hands. Come into a forward fold. So you can ragdoll here, grabbing elbow to elbow. Or you can dangle the arms and let them dangle. So I'm just taking a peek at the student just to make sure that everything's good. All right, so ragdolling here, maybe taking a bind with the elbows. Or letting the arms dangle. Take a nice deep breath in, bring the hands to the shins, come to a half lift, and then let's root to rise. Come all the way back up, let your palms touch, and palms come to heart. Beautiful. All right, so take a step back with that right foot, and then we're going to come parallel. We're going to face the right side. So parallel that left foot, and then you're going to come to a wide-legged stance. And try to see if you can take about a minimum of 3 feet. So one of the ways to measure the distance of your legs when you're going into a warrior position is to expand the arms out. I'm going to show you a little trick. And then shift the wrists, so palms down, fingers down. And then your fingertips should align with the outsides of your feet. So that's, if they're too short here, they're not going to align, right? So you got to step it out and align the outsides of the feet. So that's pretty good. All right, so from here, let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, lower them down and bring them to your lower back. Take a nice deep breath in as you press the hips forward. And then take the gaze up. So you're pressing, doing a little back bend here. Take another deep breath in as you begin to hinge and gaze forward and watch the horizon disappear. As you do that, release the arms, hands come down to the mat, and then option here to stay with your hands in front of you, or you can reach for the outsides of your feet. You can even pivot the heels a little outward so your toes are in a little bit. Take a nice deep breath in as you lengthen through the crown, and on the exhale, see if you can bend the elbows, gently pulling yourself towards the earth, crown towards the earth. Shift the weight a little bit forward. Elbows close to the shins. And then gently release, walk the hands in front of you. Let's walk the hands over to the right side. Give a nice stretch there on the left side. And if this gets a little uncomfortable, you can soften the knees and shift the feet a little bit. Inhale, walk the hands to center, and then walk the hands all the way over to the left side. A little stretch in the groin, inner thigh. And then from here, walk the hands back to center. Bring the hands to your lower back. Take a nice deep breath in. Engage the thighs. Press the feet into the mat. You're grounding your feet. Gently lift yourself all the way back up. Take the gaze up as you press the hips forward. And then gently come back to center. Nice deep breath in. And let it go. All right, so bring the feet about parallel to each other. And then we're going to begin to shift the weight to the right leg, and then shift the weight to the left leg. Okay? So adjust your feet as how it feels good to you as you begin to shift, keeping the body upright. All right, you're getting fancy there. All right, so, and it's okay if the foot lifts. You're gently shifting side to side at your comfort level, wherever your body is right now. Then we're going to take the hands to heart. We're going to play with a little balance here. So as we shift right, we're going to begin to lower down and extend the leg out, whichever side you're on, extending the opposite. And then gently, sorry, I didn't give you a direction. We're shifting to the right, lift the chest, and then let's hang out here for a little bit. Okay, so your right heel is definitely going to be lifted as you shift. So we're doing a little candlestick pose here. So that left foot is flat, and you're feeling that stretch in the inner thigh. And then you're going to shift the weight and take yourself to the other side. Now, this is a balanced position, so you can walk your hands from one side to the other to practice. And you don't have to go as low as I'm going or as Sandy's going. You know, you meet your body where it is, because eventually, if you're up here and you're shifting, that's good. Then with time, you can begin to lower. And then with time, you can begin to use your hands as you're lower. In time, you can lift the chest for balance and get a sense of what that feels, because you've already gone from high to low. All right, so shift to the left side. To play with the balance, you could bring your hands to heart. And just gently feel that stretch in the inner thigh. Breathe. No judgment here. It's all playful. So notice what comes in for you as you hold this position, because that's when stuff starts coming in. Your body starts resisting, your body starts shifting. Use your breath. And then take the hands down. Walk yourself back to center. Lift the hips up, and let's heel-toe the feet back. Okay? To hip distance apart.
You know what that really worked for me? Like this fascia on the side of my feet. It felt like like they're waking up from a long winter in boots, you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
Wow.
All right, let's forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, coming to a flat back. And even though we're on this side of the mat, bring the hands all the way back up. And then we're back into our standing position. So, just changing it up here. All right, so standing mountain pose. We're going to shift the weight. So look at your feet. Keep them parallel to each other. Toes point forward, heels behind the toes. Engage the legs by lifting the quad up, the thighs. As they lift, you will notice that the instep of the feet slightly shift up, glutes slightly shift down, and you can close your eyes to just notice what is shifting in the body. So feet are nice and grounded, legs are engaged. Take a nice deep breath in. Pull the navel in and up, let your chest rise, and then let's bring the shoulders to the ears and roll them back. Let the wrists reach down towards the earth, slightly tuck the tail in, and you're in standing mountain, chin parallel to the floor. All right, so let's take a nice deep breath in, reach up, parallel to the ears. Take that right hand to the left wrist and inhale, lengthen up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, take a gentle lean over to the right side, stretching that left side body. Press the left hips towards the left side. Notice how the weight shifts to that left leg. And then inhale, come back up. If that's too intense on the shoulders, you can lower the shoulders, lower the arms, and shake it out. And then bring the arms back up, parallel to the ears, left hand to right wrist. Inhale, lengthen that right arm towards the sky, and then take that lean over to the left side. Right hip shift over to the right. Beautiful crescent shape. And then come all the way back. All right. So let's lower the arms and roll the shoulders. And then we're going to take our hands onto our thighs and gently place the hands on the top of the knees. We're going to do a little standing cat-cow. On the inhale, we're going to gently press the hips forward, tilt the tail up, and take the gaze up. On the exhale, chin to chest, rolling in and taking cat pose. Curling in, tucking the tail. Inhale, let the belly loose and take the gaze up. Extending the spine, exhale, tuck the tail, chin to chest, round in. Continue back and forth. So notice you can do this seated, you can do this standing, you can do this on the floor. If you're in the office, take a break. Your body deserves it. Last one. And on the exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. Come to your half lift and then root to rise. Come all the way back up. Let's come to the top of the mat and get into a little modified sun salutation. Inhale, arms come up. Look up at the palms, let's reach back. Exhale, flip the palms, bend the knees as much as it feels good to, forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. And exhale, plant the palms, take that right foot back. We're going to come into a warrior one. Inhale, arms come all the way up. Anchor that front big toe, back outer edge of that back foot anchors. Take a nice deep breath, reach up towards the sky. And on the exhale, we're going to open up to the left side. A little twist here. Opposite leg, opposite movement. Inhale, arms come back up. And then we're going to open up to the right side. Notice how different that feels. Inhale, arms come up. Keep that front leg bent. Open up to the left side. Inhale, come back up. So we're also balancing here. open up to the right side. Inhale, arms come back up to center. And then let's look up at the palms and let's reach back. And then swan dive down here. Flip the palms. Arms are going to come down to bracket that foot as we swan dive down. And then let's bring that front foot back. Come into a plank or a modified plank. And this is where you're building that upper body strength, right? Pull the navel in. It's not easy for everyone because you're putting weight on the wrist. Tuck the elbows close, bring the chest down, sweep up, come to your up dog, and then curl the toes under, come down, come to your down dog. Walk the dog, lifting one heel after the other. Press the heart towards the thighs. And walk your dog. Inhale, lift the heels high, bend the knees, take a nice hover. Gaze goes between the hands, walk the feet to meet your hands, come to the top of the mat for your forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, come to your half lift and root to rise. Come all the way back up. Palms touch, palms come to heart. Let's do chair pose. Inhale, arms parallel to the ears, gaze is forward, sit in your pretend chair. Feet are about hip distance apart, still toes pointing forward, heels behind the toes. Tuck the tail, shift the weight to the heels, lift the chest, and sit down a little lower. Gaze is forward, lift the chest, so arms lift. So you're making a beautiful angle from your fingertips all the way to the base of your spine. Tuck the tail, sit a little lower, breathe. Through the discomfort, bring the palms together and bring them to heart. Let's forward fold, release the legs. Let's bend one knee after the other, a little hip tilt. Now notice what it feels to pull the perineum up while you're in a forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. Exhale, plant the palms, and left foot steps back at an angle. But you are in train tracks, and inhale the arms all the way up, coming into your warrior one. Beautiful. So hips are square to the top of the mat. Take a nice deep breath in. Let's reach back as we look up at the palms, and then exhale, come back to center. So anchor in that back edge of that back foot and the big toe. So press those in firmly. Take a nice deep breath. As you lengthen the arms, we're going to twist over to the right side. Inhale, bring the arms back to center, facing forward. Exhale, open up on the left side. Inhale, arms come back up. Let's do that again. Open up on the right side. Anchor in, really strong legs here. Inhale, arms come back up, come to center. Open up on the left side. Inhale, arms come back up. Come back to center. Take a gaze up to the palms and reach back. Flip the palms. Bring the arms all the way down. Bracket that foot. We're going to do this again. Bring that front foot back to come into your plank. Pull the navel in. Stay nice and firm here. Tuck the elbows, sweep the chest down and up to your up dog. And then take a nice deep breath and shift to your down dog. You can take a nice deep breath here and exhale it through the mouth if that feels good. And then let's walk our feet to meet our hands back to our forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, coming to your half lift and root to rise. Come all the way back up. Palms touch, palms come to heart. So, rooting to rise. I love that word, those words, because you root from the earth and you bring the arms up to rise. So, root to rise. All right. So, second set of chair. Inhale, arms come up, parallel to the ears. Sit in your chair. Take a peek at your feet to see if they've shifted. About hip distance apart. Only if you're in an advanced practice, bring the feet together. Hips shift down. Weight shifts to the heels. If the toes lift, ground the toes in. Pull the navel in. Lift the chest. Tuck the tail. Sit a little lower. And breathe. If this gets uncomfortable at all, use your breath, or if something's going on in the shoulders, your arms can come forward. That also slows down the heart rate as opposed to arms lifted, raising the heart rate. Let's bring the hands to touch, hands come to heart, and let's forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, coming to your flat back, and then let's root to rise, come all the way back up. Let your palms touch, and palms come to heart. All right. How do you feel? How does everybody feel? Good?
My chest, my heart feels open, right?
Yeah, it feels
good. All right, so let's do a little balancing, some balancing. First, let's begin with standing. You can stand in the middle of the back of your mat, and feet come about hip distance apart, so we're like a standing mountain. And what we're going to play with here is the weight and how it feels in our feet. We really take this for granted a lot because, like I said, it's just something that we do every day without thinking. But this is why this practice is beautiful, because it brings that awareness in. So coming to your standing mountain, tone the legs, gazes forward. You can either bring your hands to heart center or keep them down by your sides. Take a nice deep breath in and shift the weight forward to the front of the feet. And then inhale, shift the weight to the heels. And just notice how that feels. The toes want to lift, ground the toes. Come back to center. Shift the body to the right. Come back to center. Shift the body to the left. So when I say that the back outer edge of the back foot come back to center, grounds in, it feels very similar to when you shift your weight over to the outside edges of your feet, except you're pressing down into the floor as opposed to, some of the weight shifts, but that's kind of the sensation, that anchoring sensation that you feel. Tone the legs. Now let's shift back into the heels. Ground the toes if they're lifting. Shift the weight back to center. Take it over to the left side. Come back to center. Take it to the front part of the feet. Come back to center and then take it over to the right side. And then come back to center. So I'm going to shift to the back of my mat if you're not already there. And what we'll do here is bring the hands to heart center. We're going to do a little balancing stick pose. So taking a nice deep breath in, exhale it out. Then one more deep breath in. Pull the navel in as you step forward with the right foot. And then you're going to shift the weight to that right foot and begin to hinge at the hips as you lift that left leg up and come into your balancing stick pose. Hands can stay at the heart center, which is really nice to keep the balance centered. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, reach that leg back as you reach the arms forward. Gaze is downward, arms between our arms parallel to the ears. You can also take the arms back, a little airplane. And then from here, come all the way back up. Inhale the arms up. Palms touch, palms come to heart. So it's a little playful balancing stick pose, taking it anywhere you want and you feel comfortable, keeping the hands at the center. And once you release the hands from the heart, that's where it becomes really challenging, but it's all a practice and all for fun. All right, so back into our standing mountain, taking a step forward with the left foot, shifting the weight forward as you lift that right leg up and begin to hinge at the hips. Your balance will also be very different on both sides. Reaching forward, gazing downwards, maybe taking the arms back to a little Superman fly. I'm laughing.
Yay, we got it. Flying on a plane.
All right, and then coming all the way back up. Oh, my laugh just took me out of it. Hands come to heart center.
They're paying big money for that laughing yoga.
That is true. That is one of the funniest classes I ever took, no pun intended. All right, hands at the heart. Let's reach up at the top of the mat or back of the mat, wherever you are. Reach back and swan dive down for your forward fold. This time, let's take a deeper forward fold. Take the arms behind your legs. Maybe take a bind. Bring the crown of the head towards the mat, forehead towards the legs. And release. Heel toe your feet out to the width of the mat. And then let's come into a little malasana squat. Lower the hips down and gently coming into a little squat. So you can support your squat with a block, lifting the chest. So when you're practicing without any props, your body's going to take a little bit more effort to lift the chest, because notice how when I sat on the block, I was able to lift my chest a lot higher. So just noticing what props do to support your practice. And then from here, take the hands behind you, and then you're going to come and sit and adjust yourself to your mat. All right, so let's take that right knee in, give it a nice squeeze, flex both feet, and press the heart forward, shoulders back, and then release other side. Flex the foot, press the heart forward. Now we're going to take that left foot over the right, and then we're going to gently bring that right leg in, or if it's uncomfortable to bring that right leg in, keep it out. So that right heel is going to come to the outside of my left buttock, and the foot is going to face out, not point in. It's just going to gently point away. That left heel is in front of on the other side of the knee, of the right knee. So left heel next to right knee. All right, so from here, you're going to gently bring that left hand behind you to support your lower back. And what you're doing here is you're straightening the spine. So this left hand supports you by staying nice and lifted. And so that way your spine doesn't curve as you're taking the twist. On the inhale, arms come up parallel to the ear, that right arm, and then gently begin to bring that right elbow in front, and you can gently bend the elbow up to create a little resistance here, and then take that twist to the left side, and then take the chin to the left shoulder. Gaze goes as far as it can to the left. Take it easy and take it slow. Breathing normally. And then releasing, unwinding all the way back to center and releasing, and we will switch sides. So left heel to the right of the right buttock, right heel to the left of the left knee, point, that left foot's pointing outward, and then you're going to take that right arm to support your lower back, to support your back. Inhale that left arm up, parallel to the ear, and then you're going to take that elbow. So just making sure that the hips are nice and square and grounded. You can take that twist over to the right side. And again, different ways of doing it. You can squeeze the leg in and take the twist over to the right. Just depends on what feels comfortable for you. And breathe normally. Body follows the gaze. So if you take those eyes all the way over to the right side, the body will follow. And then gently, slowly unwind. And come back to center. And release the legs. Scoot the butt forward towards the heels. And then gently begin to lower down. And we're going to do a little, we're going to do a little symmetry work. Let's take the knees into the chest. Give them a nice squeeze. Tuck the chin, shoulders move towards the mat. And then release the legs. Bring the feet to the width of the mat. Gently side to side. Windshield wiper the knees. One can go in and out. Or both knees can fall to the right. Both knees can fall to the left. Take the knees to the left. And here you can bring your arms into cactus arm or into a T position. And then gently guide that right ankle to the top of the left thigh. And then take the gaze over to the left side. And then gently come back to center. Legs come back to center. And windshield wiper them all the way to the left. Bring that left ankle to the top of the right thigh and then take the gaze over to the right side so that your legs feel heavy. And then come back to center, release the legs, bring the knees up to the chest for another tight squeeze and release, arms over the head, stretch the legs out for a full body stretch. Nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, fold the arms by your side, taking Shavasana, final resting pose. Toes fall open. Breathing in and out the nose and coming back to your breath. Maybe tucking the shoulders underneath your body and noticing what that does for you, for your breathing, for your heart. And allow your body to access the deep relaxation that you feel at this moment. It is in this state of deep relaxation where we begin to integrate all of the hard work we've done. So this is the most important pose in any yoga class. It's so important to take that rest. Allowing your eyes to feel heavy, feeling the complete support of Mother Earth underneath your body. When you're ready, bending that right knee and shifting the hips to the right side as you roll over to the left side. And then gently pressing yourself up to seated when you're ready. Meeting me with our hands at the heart center in Anjala Mudra or prayer hands. And join me in bringing your prayer hands up to your third eye as a reminder to think kind thoughts. Down in front of our lips as a reminder to speak kind words. And back down in front of our hearts as a reminder to live life full of love, joy, inner strength, and lots of grace. Thank you so much for letting me guide your Wednesday reset. Namaste.